Whoa, what happened? I'm gonna pour me a little tea while I'm waiting for this to go through. What the hell is this? Don't do that. What's up, Sid? Salute, man. Yeah. Just life gets in the way, man. Been super busy. Super duper busy. Of course, a lot's been going on too, but it's just it's crazy times we're living in, guys. Really damn crazy times. People are playing around with fire, thinking they're going to catch somebody on a procedural rule or a policy and that it's going to fly and people are just going to accept it, not realizing that that's just going to throw fuel on fire. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of slowed down here at work a little bit, but it got busy around the house, right? I got some shit done around the house that needed to get done. And, yeah, thank God. It's, did a lot of work to my house. It needed to be done, but man, it's a grind. If you're a homeowner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was just a damn grind. Yeah. I have no idea what's been going on in the world of trucking or drama, all that shit. I really don't keep up with it. So if anything's been going on, I'm kind of blissfully unaware. But I mean, it's been taking all my effort just to stay abreast of what's going on with the politics, man. And it's just crazy shit. It's absolutely crazy. It's bonkers, honestly. Yeah, exactly. The joys of owning. Yeah, yeah. Well, I had to level the house for one. I have a pier to beam, so I had to get the house leveled, and then had the roof inspected. It needed a new roof. So I had to get that done. I put new gutters on the house. So, I mean, it's just, and I've done other things on the inside too. So it's just, it's still a lot of work. It's been a lot of money too, but we got it covered. Oh, I got you. Yeah, yeah, I got you, DJ. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind talking about it, but I know some people get frustrated with me talking about it all the time. But yeah, I'm feeling fantastic as far as that goes. You know, I I know I got my haters out there, but living well is the best revenge. I've always said. I didn't make that. I didn't make that the quote, but it's something to live by. Are you thinking of doing it? Well, I had the say yes. I had the SADS. That's the type. It's SADI-S. And yeah, I've been happy with it. I mean, nothing gained, nothing ventured, right? I mean, nothing risked. It's not without sacrifice, though, DJ. Just giving you a heads up, right? So you won't be able to eat nearly as much, which is kind of the point. But there's also certain things you won't be able to have anymore, like anything with carbonation. That means no more beer. You're done with beer for the rest of your life. You're on a bariatric vitamin for the rest of your life. And it's important. You really got to plan your meals as best you can and get as much protein as you can in those whatever you can choke down. So it and there's other issues too. If you want to send me a message, I could talk to you about it, off of here. But I mean, I'll be happy to walk you through what I went through and continue to go through. Hello, Hannon, Annie, and Annie. Welcome. But yeah, you got if you have my email, it's on my page. It's tcboggs75@gmail.com. If you want to reach out, I don't remember if I have your email or not, dear DJ. To be honest, it's been a while. If I do, but no, man, I just I know I made a video a while back with the okay, cool. Yeah, I made that video a while back comparing us to the Roman Republic. We are the new Rome, essentially. Everything about us is mirroring Rome. I mean, our basically our system of governments is mirroring Rome, and the Roman Republic fell to the Caesars. I am. Yep. Small, trying to grow a little bit. Trying to grow a little bit. I appreciate you being here. If you look at what's going on with our politics in general, we're at a precipice, guys. I mean, if you just look at what Trump has already done, if you look at what he's already done by sending in troops to these cities to enforce a rule of law, I mean, he's not playing around. Right on, PW. Kick ass, man. Or lady, sorry. Oh yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, they're about to pop up. The EU is about to disintegrate over this. I mean, the entire point of Brexit, a big part of it was maintaining their sovereignty, and a lot of that sovereignty had to do about controlling their borders. And they figured with the Tories in charge that they were going to stem the flow of the migrants washing upon their shores. Didn't happen. In fact, the Tories doubled down, and that's why they got booted out of power. Unfortunately, that allowed the even worse Labour Party into power, and they doubled down on stupid. And now Nigel Farage is coming back, who was the architect of Brexit. He's making a comeback with the Reform Party, and he's about to take control of Britain. It's going to be interesting. Or Hungary, yeah, they're kind of the outliers. Yeah, it's nuts. Germany has got the AfD, which is similar to what Marine Le Pen's party is over in France, but unfortunately, they have a parliamentary system, so they're going to have a hard time. Even if they get the majority, they may not have enough to form a government. So, and nobody would form a coalition with Le Pen's party, even though she was the majority party. And I suspect they're going to try to do the same thing to the AfD to keep them from taking control of the parliament. So it's going to be interesting. The problem is if they keep doing these little procedural bullshit ploys to keep people out of power when the majority of the people want these people in power, you are causing a lot of problems. And then now these governments are doubling down on they're attacking freedom of speech. You know, over in the UK and in the EU, people are being arrested for making salty comments online, and over there it's against the law to offend people online, which is crazy. As an American, that's absolutely nuts to think about. That, say, I made a comment, and I could be real offensive sometimes, and that would have gotten me a visit from the local constabulary because I was popping off at the mouth. That's just crazy to me. In the UK alone, I think there's over 12,000 people have been arrested for offensive comments made online. It's crazy. It's all about, it's a powder keg, is what I'm saying. Oh, no kidding. I mean, I saw it as low as 224, but I didn't see it down to 194. That's awesome. And you figure with adjusting for inflation, that's better than it was his first go around. Uncle Willie. Is Willie in here? Did I miss you, Willie? I didn't mean to. But no, I mean, if you look what Trump has already done, right? I'm being 100% here, guys. Trump has already sent troops into these major cities that actually have been an open rebellion for a couple of decades now with their shenanigans with the sanctuary states or cities, and that's completely it's open rebellion is what it is. And the majority of the people aren't having it. I know some Democrats are okay with it, but the Democrats are not the majority right now. It's MAGA. They don't like to admit that, but it was clearly seen when Trump won the popular vote. It's MAGA is in control. We are the majority. Now, has it been ebbing and flowing a little bit? Yeah, but not that much. Trump still very much has control of the popularity of his and the support of his base. And that's all that really matters in this circumstance, right? Not to mention, he can't run for re-election. So this go around, it doesn't matter what the popularity polls are. He's just going to get done what he thinks he can get done. And here's the thing. He's running into a roadblock from getting his agenda passed, again, which has the support of the majority of the Americans. And the people are behind Trump right now, despite what you might see in the media, because it's a propaganda machine. They're trying to tell you that Trump does not have popular support. He does. He absolutely does. And as a matter of fact, even if you look at the CNN polling, the base not only is supporting him, but it grew a little bit in popularity. And that's from CNN. I know. It's Marshall, Martial, not people get that screwed up with a Marshall Plan. Marshall Plan was a guy. Marshall, as in it's a martial action, is military. It's two different marshals. Not the nitpick, but the nitpicking. I only found out who Sean Ryan was. He's another YouTuber, and I know Dan Crenshaw. It's unfortunate because he was a military guy and he's a Texas congressman. But yeah, he's been he's a politician. He's a politician. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how all these guys get rich. Like multi-millionaires on $167,000 a year salary. It's look at AOC. I mean, her criteria was that she can make a margarita at the local Applebee's. Now she's worth like $50 million. Go figure. Oh, really? Well, the point I was trying to get to is that Trump has already been willing to send troops into these cities. He's not fucking around. And he has the majority of the people behind him as far as like these deportations and ICE and all that. You see a lot of propaganda out there right now. It's only because social media companies are pushing the propaganda. But in reality, the majority of the people are behind Trump and getting rid of these illegals, because it only helps us, specifically working class Americans. It helps us with housing prices to make it housing affordable again. It helps us by getting rid of illegal labor, and then these companies are going to have to rightfully compete for our attention and our labor, and that means wages will have to go up. So they don't want that to happen. So they're out there flooding the zone with a bunch of propaganda. But again, the majority of Americans are behind Trump, and we know what the thought process is. Not just getting the crime statistics down, but it's everything. You know, everything. And we've seen it with the recent welfare fraud over in Minnesota. So it's the American people want these actions to continue. As a matter of fact, they want the efforts to be redoubled, because it's not going quick enough. Because when you look at the math of it, well, it has been almost 3 million people between self-deportations and ICE rounding these people up. It's not going quick enough. So the average American actually wants Trump to redouble his efforts. And that means more National Guard, more ICE, and so on and so forth. So, but you have a lot of roadblocks with the district courts out there. And even though the Supreme Court has been very clear here recently on several different rulings that Trump is well within his purview as not only as the president, but the commander-in-chief to enact these completely lawful actions to enforce the rule of law, they keep using judicial activism to get in his way. One here recently was Comey. They let Comey go, not because he was innocent, but because Trump was using a temporary prosecutor because he can't get his nominees through the Senate. They're holding them up. So there's a timer on these temporary appointees. And since he was already at the cusp of the it's on the tip of my tongue, statute of limitations, they let him go. That's crazy. It's a miscarriage of justice. And where I'm getting at is that Trump is already going after the monetary networks and the infrastructure by going after the cartels, because a lot of these politicians, it's not just Mexican politicians and the other Latin American, it's also American politicians. They're wrapped up in the narco trade. So he's going after the money. Hell, he just seized an entire oil tanker. He's not fucking around. We already have troops on the ground in a lot of these major cities on top of ICE. And now you have district court judges out in California say that, oh, Trump can no longer command the California National Guard. The hell he can't. The hell he can't. He is the commander-in-chief. The district court judge out in California does not supersede the commander-in-chief. That's just not the way things are done. So what's going to happen is that if these district court judges continue to fuck around with his agenda, which is the MAGA agenda, which is the majority and the will of the American people, they keep fucking trying to stymie him from getting his job done that we have mandated him to do. He's going to start arresting these activist judges because they are already in open rebellion from the Supreme Court. It's about to go down, guys. Politicians and judges are about to start getting arrested. He is done fucking around with these people and getting in the way. You wait. You wait. Reagan, remember the 80s, Muammar Gaddafi screwing around, Reagan blew up his house. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have been infested with Marxists, infested, and we're not putting up with it anymore. We're just not. We're just not taking it anymore. These people need to shut the fuck up, get out of the way, and let us do our job. Because if we don't get our way as the will of the people, it's going to go very badly for the progressives. I mean, bad. I mean, there's a lot of us out here that are completely okay with Trump saying, just like the Emperor in Star Wars, where he dissolved the Galactic Republic and created the Galactic Empire, just like what happened in Rome, because that's what it was based on, right? Because Caesar, he allowed the Senate to go around, but they were like, okay, but I'm emperor, my word is final, and I'm going to get my way. You guys are just here to debate and do municipality things like voting on roads and shit, but the important decisions the Caesar's going to make, and I'm Caesar, and that's all there is to it. And that's what's going to happen here in the United States. Yeah, we'll have the vestigial Congress and a judiciary to take care of the hoi polloi and the common man, but as far as getting the important shit done, I mean, the judiciary is already trying to threaten Trump with taking away his powers of levying tariffs, even though Congress is okay with him using those powers because it's an emergency. He's saving the economy. He is saving the country, and they were trying to take that power away from him. And I'm like, you guys keep fucking around, try to get in the way, and the guy's trying to save the country, and you're not allowing him to do so. He's just going to take control. And there's not a fucking thing these guys can do about it, because the military is behind Trump. They need to realize that. They are in the minority. And there is a significant portion of the population that will be perfectly okay. Because if we don't allow Trump to take control, that means the Democrats, when they get their asshole in power, they're going to try to take control. And we would have wasted our shot. So now we are at the race of who can be the chief autocrat, basically. That's where we're at right now, and our republic is essentially dead. It's going to be either we get our guy in, or the Democrats are going to get their guy in. And we need to take advantage of the opportunity while our guy is still in power and still has the will of the people behind him. What's up, Tyrannus? Now that's where we're at. I hate to say it, but I mean, it is what it is. Our republic is dead. Half the union can't stand each other. I mean, let's be for real, right? Let's be for real. How many of you would actually care if, like, California was wiped off the face of the earth right now? How many Californians do you think would shed a tear if Texas was wiped off the map right now? Right? That's how bad it is. If New York City were to disappear tomorrow, would anybody really give a shit? Not really. That's kind of where we're at. And that's pretty fucking scary if you think about it. Damn straight there, Tyrannus. Trump not allowing certain people from a certain country. No! That used to be policy here in the United States for the immigration. It only changed in the 60s. Look, man, we tried. We tried the globalist route. We tried multiculturalism. We tried opening our borders. We tried saying, okay, yeah, we were a racist country, and maybe we can try to amend our ways and try things a little bit different to be more open. Turned out it was a complete fucking disaster. Complete and utter disaster. Not all cultures are compatible. Not all cultures are equal. I'm sorry, they're just not. We are a country that was settled by Europeans. So the European nations should be our closest allies, and we cross-pollinate a lot. We're essentially cousins. We're cousins. You know, we're distantly related, but we're related. There's a common thread. You know? And we're importing people that are literally worshiping a pedophile. That's incongruent with Christian values. And I'm not even Christian. But I can say that I grew up in a Christian nation, and I was Christian growing up. And Jesus was not the prophet out there sleeping with little kids. He also was not the one going out and having wild homoerotic experiences with the Alzoots. Right? So, I mean, and what their prophet does, since their prophet's perfect, that's why you have so many fucking problems with child grooming gangs in the UK right now. And we're only going to import more of that bullshit if we keep doing the same here. It's incompatible with our American way of life. I'm sorry. And yeah, we should have a limit on who we want to allow in the country. Sorry. It is what it is. Hi, Anna. You know, I mean, you can call me nasty names if you disagree with me all you want, but it is what it is. We are different people. We have different ideologies, morals, and ethics. And it's very much frowned upon in the United States to marry a 6-year-old and then consummate the marriage at 9. I don't care what area you live in, that's fucking a little kid, and that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And these motherfuckers, like a billion of them, are worshiping this guy. Worshiping this guy. No. Full stop. Not compatible with the United States. Period. What's up, Pool? Yeah. I wouldn't just stop at immigrants. I'd exile homeless drug addicts to Canada and Mexico. DJ, do you want her homeless? They do. They do. And here's the true irony of it, okay? Right now, the Muslims are in a coalition with the LGBTQ community and Democrats in general. But when you look at what the Democrats are fighting against to our conservatives, it's primarily the religiosity of the Christians, not realizing that the Islamists are much more Bronze Age conservative than any Christian sect that you could think of here in the United States. They are only in alliance with the Democrats because it's not about the religion, but it's about being against whitey. They're anti-white. Not realize that, you know, if we're defeated, then the next group to come into power will be the next most well-organized group. And that would be the next religious group, because that's the tie that binds them all together. And there's a fuck ton of them, which means the Muslims would eventually take over. Because they're cliquish, they're clannish, and they make a lot of babies because they suppress the rights of their women. They turn them into basically baby factories. And then once they gain control and power, well, then you're going to have Sharia. So everything that the Democrats, especially the liberal women, are fighting white men over in Christianity, they're going to get a triple dose of Bronze Age law and women's rights out of the Muslims. It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. And you can't tell them that. Then you're mansplaining. And it's like, well, fuck. What do you do? What do you do? Right, yeah. No, but seriously, man. I mean, they're more conservative than any of us are because of the way their religion operates. And yeah, the supposed rights that we're taking away from women would truly actually happen under an Islamic theocracy. I mean, just look at Iran. Look at any of these other Muslim countries that are dictated by their religion. It's bonkers. And that's going to be our future. That is Europe's future. It was Europe's past. Look what happened to Spain. 800 years under Moorish control. They had to go through the fucking Reconquista to get rid of their asses and ship their ass back to Morocco. It took 800 years to get rid of those fucking savages. They changed the demographics of Spain. You realize that? That's why some Spaniards are brown. They weren't brown prior to that. They're as white as every other culture in Europe. It's all the interbreeding that were forced upon them by the Moors. I mean, and that's when we had the Dark Ages in Europe. We didn't have the Renaissance until we got rid of the fucking savages that allowed breathing room for society to expand and flourish into the arts, and to have the Reformation and Christianity, and to get all the good shit that we're at right now. Islam hasn't had any of that. There is no Martin Luther for Islam. Who? Who the fuck is Billy? Is that really Joey? Is that really you? I don't know. I hope you're doing all right. I heard you're going through some shit, but I hope you're well. Anyway, I'm getting distracted, but when you're backing people up in a corner and you realize what they're doing, and the coalition is basically to get Whitey, that's a problem. And you're going to force people that were moderates to become radicalized real damn fast when they think their safety and their way of life is being threatened, because there's half the country out there to get you just because of your skin color. Even though your ancestors built everything, built this entire country. And now these others are trying to come in and crowd you out of your own space. And it's like, we're not going to tolerate it. It's just not going to happen. It's kind of like what happened to Germany after World War I, right? I mean, you think about it, just realistically. Yeah, they lost. Then you had the Treaty of Versailles. And then the Brits and the French tried to lay such a punitive measures against the German people that culminated in the Weimar Republic. And the problem is that Germany has been the dominant culture of the EU since the fall of Rome. The Holy Roman Empire was Germanic. And that was the first Reich, by the way. The second one was under Bismarck. Hitler was creating the third. The problem is, when you have the dominant culture trying to be repressed by the lesser cultures. I mean, I hate to use that word, but I mean, you have the dominant and then you have the subservient, right? But when you have the betas trying to keep the alpha down, the alpha is going to shake the betas off and remind people that who the actual alpha is. And that's basically what happened with Germany. They took it on the chin for 20 years. Their economy was crashed. Their society was completely debauched, and there was no hope in sight until one painter from Austria came around and says, "You know what? We ain't gotta take this shit on the chin anymore, guys. Yeah, we lost World War I. I got it, but we didn't lose by that much, and we don't have to keep living like fucking animals. We're just gonna take our shit back, whether they like it or not." And he did. And to this day, you can actually say that the EU is the Fourth Reich, because Germany is still the economic powerhouse and the dominant culture of the EU. Germany basically is the glue. It is the EU. It's just that they decided to go about tying and binding Europe together through an economic treaty rather than bullets and bombs. But the EU, by all accounts, is the Fourth Reich. It is. The dominant culture will always bubble back up to take control. And they did. What does the cane sugar call your promises fall? I have no idea. I can't drink that shit anymore. But I got my tea. So you know, since I'm talking about the EU here, you're basically going to have a mix of the rise of another right wing, because you're having a right wing populism spreading like fire across the EU and even in Britain right now, combined with the mentality of a Reconquista 2.0. And it's not going to be, it's not going to look good. And the people in power right now think that they can put a lid on it, but they're not going to be able to. The people of these lands are not going to tolerate living like this. They're not going to tolerate having people coming in from these other cultures, coming in and disrupting their societies, bringing their bullshit values that I mean, they had another run-in with Islamists running into people at a Christmas event. This has been like an every year thing going on, like between Germany and France. People are not going to tolerate this. Last year was absolutely horrific, with Muslims going and tearing ass through like parades and gatherings for Christmas time. All you're going to do is cause a resurgence of religiosity. There's a lot of secular people in Europe and even the United States right now, but all this bullshit that they're dealing with, the Islamists, there is actually a resurgence in Christianity. And you're going to see a lot of motherfuckers with Templar crosses saying Deus Vult running around and cracking some heads in. You're radicalizing a populace that was trying to be tolerant. But in the end, Christianity is also a warrior religion. And a proud people that had been inhabiting that land for thousands upon thousands of years are not just going to sit there and take it on the chin from an ancient enemy and the Islamists. They're just not going to do it. And we're going to get a bit of that vibe here in the United States, because we're cousins. We're cousins. We're from the same stock of people. And we're just not going to tolerate it. Whether our politicians are going to be on board or not, they will be eventually, because the will of the people will move like a damn avalanche. It's going to be a force of nature. And it's going to be one of those things that, you can't hold back the avalanche, so we're going to get behind it. It's coming. It's coming. I don't want it to. I don't want to see all the upheaval, because it essentially will be the end of the republic. It will be the final death knell, but the people will demand a dictator to kind of stop these activist judges from getting in the damn way from doing what needs to be done. And by God, it's going to get done. But that means our way of governing ourselves is going to be over. And honestly, democracy has had its time. You know, governments, the fad of a government it comes and goes in vogue, right? Democracies peak and then they go away. Right now, we're losing to the autocracy. We're losing to the autocrats, the dictatorships. Technology has surged to the point where democracy is too slow to react effectively against these other totalitarian regimes such as China and Russia. They don't have to have a Congress they got to get everything passed through. They just do what needs to be done. And yeah, it's authoritarian. It's a police state, but they're gaining ground and we're losing ground because our system of governments is slow on purpose. And that's not going to cut it with today's technology. It just isn't. So democracy is on the way out, guys. It just is. It's no longer fashionable. It's no longer effective. It's going to get us killed. It's going to go bye-bye. It just is. With the Muslims going into towns and disrupting Christmas celebrations just like they try to do with Oktoberfest. Yeah. I mean, they just had another car crash not too long ago. It's only been a couple of weeks. And it's just, it's like only like, a week and a half from Christmas. It's not going to be tolerated. It's not. You're already seeing massive I mean, look at that Tommy Robinson. They try to put the kibosh on that. But up to 3 million people showed up for Tommy Robinson's march a month or two ago. They didn't want to make a big deal out of that. But there was a lot of St. George's flags and Union Jacks being flown. There was a lot of motherfuckers out there that are tired of that shit. Tired of it. They're tired of hearing about the Muslim rape gangs. They're tired of hearing about their way of life deteriorating because they got to put all these motherfuckers through on welfare. They're tired of not being able to find housing, the council housing, for their poor and indigent, to make room for people that just literally washed up on the beach and they got to put them somewhere. They're tired of all that. Britain is financially suffering. The citizens of Britain are suffering because of the non-stop migration that the only people that are paying any lip service to it right now is the Reform Party with Nigel Farage. And he's the one he was the architect of Brexit. So he's kind of a goofy guy, but he's effective. He got Britain out of the EU. He's about to take control away from Labour and the Tories. They're going to have a third party option because that's the way parliaments work. He's going to come in and steamroll Labour and the Tories. Now, will he have the will to do what needs to be done to make Britain again? Don't know. He's paying lip service to her right now. He's also kind of wishy-washy in some of the details. But if the people put him in power, here's what's going to happen, guys. And it's the same here in the United States. If you have these politicians that are saying a good game on the campaign trail, but once they gain power, they fall on their face and sit on their ass and don't actually do what needs to be done, then that means the next person that people put into power is going to be even more extreme. And more extreme candidates are going to be coming up for that position until you actually get one that actually will do the job. So how many levels of extreme are we going to have to get to in order, so if you don't want it to get that bad, the people that are coming up right now saying that they're going to solve the problem better damn well give it a good try. And if the people get in their way to keep them from doing it, they need to be arrested or steamrolled. Because the people, the working class, have had enough. Absolutely have had enough. Well, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, I saw a blurb about that earlier from Steve Oatley, but I didn't look into it. Too many Islamic people there keep flooding in from Canada. Well, I mean, well. Pierre should be in control of Canada right now, but he shot himself in the foot because he decided he wanted to go show his ass to Trump for whatever reason. Why he needed to do that or felt the need to do that, I don't know. It should not be Mark Carney in power. Mark Carney's not even a real Canadian. He's got dual citizenship with the EU or Britain. Can you imagine a president that has dual citizenship? We would never allow that here in the United States, like at all. But that's what they have for a prime minister. And he's just as bad, if not worse, than the drama teacher, Trudeau. It's crazy. Pierre Poilievre, I'm probably fucking it up because I'm not a frog, but he should be the one in charge right now. Absolutely shot himself in the foot. Completely unnecessary. But no, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of truth to say about in Britain right now, Tyrannus, but there's still an awful lot of Brits there, and they're getting more and more pissed off. And I mean, even see it in Ireland. I mean, the Irish are having their own issue, and they all are. They have been sold. We have been sold down the river by the globalists, and that's on both sides of the party. If Trump doesn't go harder on the paint, the guy that comes after Trump is going to double down, is what I'm saying. And these Democrats think they got a shot in the midterms, maybe, historically speaking, but it's another year before that election. So a lot can happen between now and then. And honestly, if Trump thinks he's slipping and may actually lose Congress to continue to stymie what needs to be done, he may just start arresting people. I would not be surprised. I mean, there's a lot going on. You already have NATO generals going out there talking about World War III's around the corner because of Russia. A lot can happen before next November, guys. Ukraine's not an afterthought. Shit's still going down there. And now you got China getting in the mix with the Russians. North Korea was already joining with the Russians. Now China is actively participating with Russia in Ukraine. And then they got their own eyes set on Taiwan, which we are not going to allow the Chinese to have, because we are not going to allow the Chicoms controlling the chips that run everything for robotics to AI and all that. We're just not going to allow China to do that without a fight. And now they're saber rattling with Japan. So we got specifically South Korea and Japan, and they're having to deal with North Korea and China. And we're not going to allow them to have Taiwan. It's not going to be like Hong Kong. We're not going to be the British. We're not just going to allow China to take, we're just not, we signed a treaty back in the day. Yeah, well, that was with a different government. That was with a different government there, Britain. You did not have to give up. They were scared of China, is what they were. They gave up Hong Kong. We're not doing that with Taiwan. We're just not. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is, that's why we're seeing a resurgence of nationalism. Globalism is a failure. Globalism only worked when the United States was controlling it. Globalism only works because it's our military, funded by the U.S. taxpayers, keeping the trade lanes open and free. And we're not seeing a good cost-benefit analysis for the American people, because all that's doing is enabling our U.S. companies to go overseas to get around labor and environmental practices. And then the few jobs that we do have remaining here, they're trying to import the third world to supplant the American worker. Basically, we're going to have nothing in our own country. We're not going to tolerate that for much longer. We're already not. That Trump is already a symptom of that. Trump was elected as a punishment to the globalists. And if they didn't get the message this last time, this is round 3, it's going to get more and more extreme until they get the fucking point that we're not tolerating this. You're not going to continue hollowing out the United States. We're just not going to sit on our hands and tolerate it. You're not replacing us in our own damn country. We are not going to put up with it. You are not changing the demographics or the majority religion. We're just not going to put up. We are not going to be supplanted by inbred retards and allow them to come vote and fuck up our elections. We're just not going to tolerate it. We're not going to tolerate any more brotherfuckers being elected and representing our states in Congress. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to put up with it. Whether you got a green card or not, the American people are just going to rise up and say, tough shit, we're taking control. That means we're suspending the Constitution. And that's what we got to do to save ourselves. Then that's what we're going to do. End of story. This shit is going to stop one way or the other. Mark my words. I think if Trump thinks we're going to actually lose the midterms, I think he takes complete control. I think he turns in his risk cards. We're going to have other shit going on, and maybe dealing with Russia and China and World War III starting out. Elections get suspended. It is what it is. He's taking control as commander-in-chief for the betterment of the country. Kind of like Zelensky did in Ukraine, where he suspended elections because he was dealing with Russia. There's nothing stopping an American president from doing the same thing. And I think FDR did the same thing, honestly, during World War II. That's why he had more than 2 terms. So, yeah. The Democrats' only saving grace is that Trump is an old guy, but Vance is in his 40s. He's younger than I am. So, now, is he going to be as extreme as Trump? I don't know, but he better be. He better double down on MAGA. Because if he doesn't, the torches and pitchforks are coming for him, too. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, guys. We got shit going on with the cartels. And you already have I'm telling you, the Democrats, if they keep getting in the way and not allowing Trump to take care of what he needs to take care of, he's just going to suspend Congress. And there's not going to be a fucking thing they can squeal to the high heavens. But Trump has the military. He's Caesar. He controls the military. And the military had a resurgence in recruitment because Trump came into office. So the zone is flooded with MAGA soldiers. Who are they going to follow? Chuck Schumer or the commander-in-chief that they signed up on the dotted line when he came back into office? They're going to support Trump. It is what it is. Republicans are more patriotic and they sign up in greater numbers in the police and the military. They always have. Because there's a nationalist streak through Republicans. Because we actually give a fuck about our country. So yeah, the Democrats aren't going to control it. It's going to be Republicans, and right now that's going to be Trump. And yeah, if he determines that there's too much sedition going on and it's destabilizing the republic, that's going to be the justification he needs to go and militarize and actually send in and suspend posse comitatus and actually send in not just the nasty guard, but actual military to go in and quell the rebellion, kind of like Abraham Lincoln did. It's great that you have these laws in the books saying preventing these things to happen, but when the rubber meets the road, the commander-in-chief is in power. He controls the military. The soldiers are going to follow him. He already replaced every administration replaces the old Pentagon with their new Pentagon. So the generals in charge are going to be loyal to Trump, and they're going to get the shit done. Because we're not going to allow our country to fall around our ears over some fucking procedural lawyer bullshit. We're just not going to allow it. We'll just arrest the lawyers. It's just like Abraham Lincoln. He suspended habeas corpus. He took all the dissidents, up to and including the press, and just threw their ass in prison. They didn't have a fair trial, any of that shit. They just rotted in prison until the war was over. Fuck them. That's what's going to happen. We're about to get mode. You're about to see politicians, judges, and any other lippy dissidents, and they're about to get mode. And there's not a fucking thing they're going to be able to do about it. And the majority of the country are going to applaud them for doing it. The other are going to screech, hoot, and holler, but they won't have the power to stop them. And at that point, people will step in line, and shit will get done with a quickness. The problem with that scenario is Trump is an old man, and he's not going to live forever. And whoever takes his place afterwards, after the republic has been disintegrated, that's where it's going to get real juicy. Yeah, but he didn't have the will of the people behind him. He only got into office because of Ross Perot the first time. And if Ross Perot didn't split the vote away from Bush Sr., Bush Sr. would have won the election easily. Easily. And that's what happens. That's why voting third party is a waste of time, because it's just going to get your ideological opponent into office. Because as bad as Bush was, Clinton was bad. He was worse. And you saw how scandal-ridden his administration was, and how fucking a slimeball that motherfucker was. And he crashed the economy with the dot-com bust. And people like to give him a pass. He also got us involved with Sarajevo when Yugoslavia broke apart. We didn't have any business over there in that bullshit, dealing with Slobodan Milosevic and Croatia and Serbia and all them. Fuck them. Fuck them. It was fucking Serbia taking care of the fucking Croats, who were goddamn Muslims that were out there destabilizing their fucking region. We had no business over there. But Clinton got us into it, and like I said, he crashed the economy with the dot-com bust. So he was not a good president. He was a dipshit. And he got us involved with other shit too, like bombing aspirin factories to get fucking headlines off the papers, because he was, more and more shit was coming out with his inappropriate dealings with Monica Lewinsky. And you know what? As skeezy as that was, I don't really give a shit what a grown-ass adult does with their pecker, as long as he has a consenting adult they're doing it with. The problem with that scenario is that she was an intern. So he had direct power over Monica Lewinsky, and that's why that was so bad. That's why that was so horrible. But if it was like, I don't know, I mean, somebody that wasn't under his direct supervision and control, I don't think people were really giving a shit. I mean, yeah, you would have some pearl clutching out there, but so what? I mean, so what? If I were married to Hillary, I'd be fucking around too, to be perfectly honest. That fucking harpy. Are you kidding me? It's turning out that the kid, Chelsea, may not even be Bubba's. They're showing this other guy. I can't remember his name. I think his name's Mark. I have to go back and look. But, I mean, yeah. He doesn't look anything like Clinton. It looks an awful lot like this other guy that Hillary was fucking around with at the time. So that's a little suspicious. Kind of like Obama's kids, to be perfectly blunt about it. They look, I mean, they don't look like Michelle and Barack. They look like this other couple. It is what it is. You know. A lot of skeezy shit goes on to that level. It just gets amplified because they're higher up. But yeah, it's like I say, guys, we are very close. Very close. I mean, it's going to be within our lifetimes that the republic fades away. And also, I think that's going to happen. And not only is the republic going to go away, but I think that's when the North American Union is going to be founded. I mean, it's no coincidence that we're dealing with Canada and Mexico at the same time. We are trying to bind Canada to the United States even further economically because we're closer culturally, that we don't need to send troops. We can do it economically. But we're also simultaneously going after Mexico to clean up their act, because the ultimate goal to compete with the EU and China and Russia is to form the North American Union. And Mexico can't be a basket case. They can't be a failed narco state. So we're cleaning up Mexico. So the three of us, just like the EU did at their economic treaty with the EU, when they formed that in the 70s, now that they're a one government, we're going to do the same thing with the North America. I forget, was it MCS USA or something like that? Whatever replaced NAFTA. The new treaty, but we're going to get rid of the cartels. We're going to clean Mexico up. We're gonna end a lot of the bullshit going on over there, and we're also gonna put our thumb on the scale with Canada. I mean, and I know, DJ, I know you're in Canada, but it's gonna happen. It's happening. That's why all this shit's going down. It is the birth pangs of the North American Union, and it's gonna be good and bad. I mean, bad for us, probably because we're going to wind up adopting the metric system, and that's just, I don't want that. It's feet, yards, and inches. Miles. I don't want to learn kilometers, pounds, kilograms, and fucking kilometers. He's scrapping that deal, USMCA, thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, he may. He's the one that he scrapped NAFTA, and he brought the USMCA into existence. But it's going to be a little bit like Darth Vader. Remember that scene with when he brought Han Solo into him, and then you had Lando over there. That's not what we agreed upon. And then you have Vader said, "Pray I don't change the deal even further." So take what you're gonna get while I'm offering it. Otherwise, what's in the other hand is a lightsaber. You ain't gonna like that one. They're all a bit mafiosos at that level, man. They're fucking animals. Politicians are animals. This whole veneer of the nice guy, or just not being a bunch of fucking savages. That's just paper thin. They are. They're friggin' animals. They're all power-hungry animals. It is what it is. All right. I'm done with the tea. I've been on for an hour. Appreciate you guys being here. I know it's been a while. No, he wasn't a traitor. He turned Han in, but him and Han, they were acquaintances, but they weren't friends. They got each other into a lot of trouble over the years, and ultimately Lando was looking out for his. I know we're nerding out here, guys, Bespin, that's the name of the planet that Cloud City is on. He was the governor of Cloud City. He was looking out for the interests of Cloud City by getting rid of this one guy that was an acquaintance of his that was a pain in the ass. Because you remember, he was still pissed at Han for taking the Millennium Falcon away from him, right? So he gets to save Cloud City, keep it under his control because the Empire's there, and they don't really want to fuck with him too much. They just want this one asshole that they'd be chasing around the galaxy to make an example out of him. So, does that make him a traitor, or was he loyal to the people that he was representing there in Cloud City? I don't think he was a traitor. It just wasn't until Vader changed things on Lando that he decided to join the rebellion. He didn't give a shit about the rebellion until it came on his doorstep. But that's actually an interesting thing because I've looked in the Star Wars, and if you get down to brass tacks, the Empire really did nothing wrong. Because if you look at the prequels, the Old Republic, it was falling apart. You had corporations warring upon and basically being terrorists in these different solar systems within the galaxy that were supposed to be under Republic control, but you had these guild wars. So you had the Trade Federation just basically coming in and nuking a damn planet, and the Republic, they just allowed it to happen. And apparently slavery was alive and well in the Republic. So there was a lot of injustices going on with the Republic, and they were falling apart and they were ineffective. And the Emperor came in. The Emperor Palpatine, yeah. If you're a politician, especially a corrupt politician, you're fearing for your fucking life. But for the rank and file citizens of the Galactic Empire, life actually improved when Palpatine took power away from the Old Republic. He brought about law and order. You had a bunch of gangsters. The guild wars, that bullshit, that stopped. That stopped. No more corpo wars. He put an end to that shit with a quickness. He outlawed slavery. All the lawlessness going on, he sent the troops in, and he prevented the gangsters like the Hutts and all that shit from taking control. He put a stop to that shit and forced them out to the outer rim, like we're Tatooine, like the ass into nowhere. He didn't give a fuck about all that. If you look at it with an unbiased eye, the Empire actually was correct. And all the actions that they took against the rebellion were justified. The rebellion stole the weapon secrets of, at that time, the greatest weapon in the galaxy. Right? It would be equivalent of some asshole dissidents running off with the greatest, the plan, the largest nuclear bomb. Right? And then doing God knows what with that information. So yeah, the Empire sent the troops out to go get that shit back because you can't have the rebels making their own version of the fucking Death Star. That would be a fucking catastrophe. So them going after the rebels the way they did was absolutely justified. Well, if you ask the Democrats, they would say that. And it may be accurate. It may be accurate. I mean, once the Emperor took control, I mean, Democrats, Republicans, that shit went away. You either were pro imperial control, or you were a dissident at that point. It became a uniparty state with like the Emperor was in control. Just like I said, it was the whole thing with Star Wars and the Empire taking control was actually it was a metaphor for what happened to Rome. Rome only survived as long as it did because the Caesars took control and they allowed the Republic to fall apart. If somebody did not come in to take control of Rome with the Caesars, Rome would have faded from existence 1,000 years early. It would have been done because they were too ineffective and they had too many competing empires. I mean, the last one that they had to deal with was like the Carthaginians, but that took a lot out of them. But they had other shit. They had other pressures going on, and just the Roman Republic was too ineffective. They didn't have the alacrity, just like what Anakin was talking about. Oh yeah, the Republic, they're just ineffective. They can't get anything done. There's too much infighting. There's too much corruption. They're talking about us. Because it's true. It's true. And I know they try to portray the Empire as bad because the big evil Sith was in charge, right? The Dark Jedi, the Dark Force user was in control. But does that make them evil? The Force is the light and the dark, right? Were the Jedi good? Look what the Jedi did. They were supposedly in control. They were the police force of the Republic, and look what they allowed happen: the guild wars, the slavery, the outlaws taking control of whole star systems. They the Jedi were just sitting on their balls and allowing it to happen. So, were they good? Or were they just another bloated bureaucracy that outlived their usefulness, and society was crumbling around them because they were too ineffective, because there was too much deliberation going on, and they couldn't get the job done? Whereas the Emperor just said, send in the storm, we're going to maintain order, and we're going to open up trade lanes again, and we're just going to end and kill the outlaws. We're just going to hang them all. He just went full Vlad Tepes on them and just started impaling people. And just like Vlad, the extreme measure saved Romania, or Wallachia at the time. But yeah, to this day, they're still talking about Vlad the Impaler. But he did that to save his country from the Ottomans. Because after they witnessed a couple of miles of people still moaning with these stakes shoved through their ass all the way out their throat, because there were still a lot of those people were still alive. They got so good at the impaling these people that they found a way to keep a lot of them alive. So these Ottoman Turks and their janissaries were marching down the road to Wallachia, and they heard these people moaning with a huge fucking stake in their fucking mouth, dying. That it freaked them the fuck out. They turned around and they left. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting tangent. But yeah. And that's what's going to happen for us. So either it's Trump or it's going to be whoever comes after Trump. Extreme measures will have to be enacted to save our country. It will transform our country in the process, but we will save our peoples. And quite frankly, nothing lasts forever. There was no guarantee that we were going to... I mean, we're already kind of an outlier with the oldest written constitution that's still enforced. I don't know if you guys know that or not. And we're still a pretty young country, if you think about it. We haven't been around that long, and we already have the oldest constitution in effect. It tells you how effective these constitutions really are in the grand scheme of things as far as human governments go. They don't last that long. They just don't. They're not effective. They're nice to have the paper. It's like, oh yeah, we got something to look at. We got it written down. But in the end, it's the will of the people. The people make the societies, make the nations. And if the people want the change, we're going to get a change. Regardless of what's written down, if people want shit to get done, it's going to get done. And no words on a paper or a document or coming out of a judge is going to stop it from happening. The will of the people always wins. Hell, look at the French Revolution. You had monarchy for fucking ever in France. It really wasn't even that bad, considering. But the people had it in their minds that, hey, we saw what happened with the Americans, and we want some of that. They just went about it in a completely retarded way about it, and their republic didn't last, but not even 20 years. They beheaded the monarchy. They formed their little republic. Robespierre finally, in the end, the architect of the French Revolution, wound up getting beheaded himself in the end, and that allowed Napoleon to show up, the strong man. And you know what? That was the last time the French were worth the shit, because the strong man came in and says, you know what? Everything about the monarchy wasn't wrong. So you guys got rid of the monarchy. You tried your little experiment with the republic. It fell on its face. So now I'm going to be emperor because I have a military behind me, and I get shit done because I'm really effective. I'm a really great general. And then he turned to his risk cards to bind the French people together, and he blazed across Europe all the way to Moscow to his demise. But still, the strong man will always show up at times of great tribulation to coalesce society back, more or less, back into a resemblance of order. It always happens, guys. That's just how we are as a species, and it will always be that way because that's just in our DNA. We're tribal. We're violent. We adhere to a hierarchy, and yeah. And we crave order. We always bring order out of chaos. Anyway, nice little tangent there, DJ. Thanks. All right, guys. I'm out of here. If I don't see you again before Christmas, Merry Christmas. And hopefully we'll have better news, right? Hopefully shit will calm down and people will wise up and get the hell out of the way so we can lance the boil to allow the healing to start. But until we get through this, it's gonna be ridiculous in the news, and we'll see what happens. You know my thoughts. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. TC out.